So this is where we started at the TBH. The photo you're just looking at is 1993 when we started the process of building this building. And as you can see, I still stand the same way. So isn't that remarkable? We started actually in 1977 and as a theater, bilingual theater. Now it's called Talento Bilingüe de Houston, which means bilingual talent of Houston. So this is our lobby. We have a lot of art here. We have 8 artists that are opening up an exhibit called Passion. But that's what we like to do, showcase new and emerging artists and even some established artists locally. Lots of volunteers, as you can see behind me, up in the ladder is hanging this show. And okay, we're in the theater now. It holds 300, and we have all kinds of events here, from children's recitals, summer camp, to touring productions. This is a representation of the schools we deal with. These paintings are from Austin High School, Chavez, Milby, Davis, Raul Izaguirre, Reagan, and others. And basically the students wanted to remember their culture, their past, their future. So all these paintings are of Latino heroes and legends. So behind me is beautiful Guadalupe Plaza Park. We're so proud of it. The city's fixing it up for us, so it doesn't look like it's ready, but it's going to be ready by next month. We have Easter egg hunts there for the kids, or Halloween parties, just all kinds of events. And as a matter of fact, when I first started here with this place, they asked me what color did I want the building, so we painted it exactly the same color as the park, so I could see we were all unified. There you have it, TBH, Talento Bilingüe de Houston, bilingual talent of Houston, celebrating our 40th year in this community. But it takes you guys to help us. So you college students or whoever's listening to this, come and volunteer, come and paint for us, come and act for us, or just, chair tickets for us, whatever you can do. We need your help. Thank you for your visit.
So there are a few big markets in this community, and the biggest one that I know about is kind of off-grid illegal industry, and that's human trafficking. Actually, there's a lot of cantinas in the area where men and women are trafficked. Some of the positive industries that are available in our neighborhood are, there's quite a few auto body shops and car resale industries, as well as a lot of independent businesses and restaurants. There are a lot of small refresquerias owned by local community members. So as members of this Eastwood 2nd Ward community, we try to patronize those more to input the money back into our own community.
This area.
Right. I think some of the big barriers in this area are kind of sexist undertones and just the aggressive ways that men treat women in this area. I've been to a lot of areas of the city at different times of day, but I don't encounter as much catcalling and profane language towards me and the people that I'm with in anywhere really other than this neighborhood. This is the most. And individuals are realizing that in a 10-minute drive from their workplace, they can get a house that's maybe half as expensive as their small apartment would be. So that's forcing a lot of, especially younger people, college students, to move into this area, and that's inadvertently pushing individuals who have lived here their whole lives out of the neighborhood. We're a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, and a lot of our neighborhood businesses are small refresquerias where individuals go for lunch or a snack or just going to hang out. And I've noticed that more and more of them seem to be disappearing, and I believe that's a result of the gentrification in the neighborhood.
Writers.
Okay.
But I also try to go to our 2nd Ward super neighborhood meetings pretty regularly, and I'm also on the East End Foundation board. And so they focus on culture, arts, and education in the neighborhood. So we helped organize the farmers market that happens every Sunday. I don't know if you know, but on the Esplanade there's a farmers market every Sunday.
Okay. How long has that been going on?
That's been going on since April, so we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. There's quite a few. I mean, I think the biggest one is probably the new residents. I mean, both in the positive and the negative, because I think a lot of the people that live in this neighborhood or have lived in this neighborhood have been here for generation on generation. I mean, I meet people every day that tell me, oh, this used to be my grandmother's house, and so they've taken over their grandparents' homes, and it's been in the family for that long. And so it's a really big deal when they have developers coming in and offering these crazy prices for their houses. I mean, it's very easy for them to just roll over and sell because it's the best
Right.
alternative they
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
And so there's that aspect. And then, you know, I think some developers aren't very considerate of their neighbors. And so, you know, over on the other side, just along the bayou, there's maybe 2 or 3 new developments going up, each about like 70 units or so. And so what happens is they really have no consideration for the urban environment.
Okay.
The developers never put in sidewalks. You're lucky if you got a street light. And so even though it's all new housing, they suffer a lot from crime because there's no
It's good for
public environment. And so like they have no place to walk their dogs, they have nowhere to, and so it's been interesting because they face a lot of those challenges. Some of those developments are completely gated. And so it seems like very sectioned off from the rest of the neighborhood. Like there's a website called nextdoor.com.
I saw that.
And so it's interesting because there's a development on Commerce Street that's all gated, and they actually have a separate neighborhood that they created on Nextdoor, even though they're right in the middle of Second Ward.
Wow.
So I mean, that kind of thing is just weird.
Yeah, right, it
Because
is.
you would think they would want to be more integrated,
Yeah.
but they're not.
They're not.
And so, I mean, I think the fence condition is a weird one.
Okay.
I mean, being an architect, I feel like you want a certain sense of safety, but when you put up a fence,
Right.
it sends a different message. It
Yeah.
doesn't send a message of safety. It sends a message of stay out.
Right.
Or we'll have vendors and artists come out here.
Okay.
And so usually we try to highlight a different theme. Like one night we did tango. What else have we done? Tango. We did a punk rock
Okay.
one night.
So trying to get something for everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Because I mean, I feel like people don't, until you really start to see your neighbors come out, you don't realize how diverse this neighborhood actually is. So if anything, I think that's probably the plus side to some of that gentrification.
It has been a cultural center for the Hispanic community for years, decades now. It's currently under renovation and has been under renovation since at least 2009. Community members have been upset over a lot of the changes that are going on in the park. They don't feel like it's really capturing what the Hispanic community is about. However, park planners have said that a lot of the changes that have been made were approved by various community members, and they actually wanted it to resemble the nearest park, which is Discovery.
Built in pretty recently, just as people have been moving into the neighborhood. There's been a need for just more walking paths, and so it's in a residential neighborhood, so you see a lot of people walking around using it, local people, but also people will come from different areas to try and use the trail and walk along it. Since it is in a residential area, you'll hear a lot of birds, you'll hear dogs barking, but it's also really close to a commercial area, so you hear a lot of cars moving, and during the day, also some businesses.
Now we're at Navigation and Jensen Road. Behind me is Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church. It is considered the mother church of Mexican immigrants, 5th generation. It is also on the grounds of the oldest Catholic elementary school, as well as the oldest cemetery at 2nd Ward. Behind me we have kids playing. And as you can see, the kids are playing, which I find very interesting, in front of the cemetery, on the grounds of the cemetery, which I thought was extremely